it took me a really long time to just gather the courage to leave, like, and to be through. There's so many women around me that I would have never, ever looked twice at and was like, you're going through abuse or somebody's abusing you or whatever. Like, I would have never thought. So to know that my story is reaching or touching or empowering the next woman to want to get out of that situation is everything to me. But within that time, I found out so much about him. He had a gambling problem. He popped rollers, and if you don't know what rollers are, their ecstasy pills and things like that, and he popped them heavy. So he was under a lot of influence of different things, and he was underneath some more pressure and things like that. I'm not gonna get too deep into that, but it was just a lot of anger built up in him, like just a demon for real. And so between July and December, it was just always something. It was always something. It was never not anything. It was just always something. So the not this isn't the last thing that like told me like this was enough, but this was one of the things. This was the thing that got him. He ended up catching a battery case and a domestic abuse case because of this situation. So a few days before Christmas, my sister and her girlfriend were in town, and her girlfriend were at my house, and my friend was at my house, and he was at work, and we were just chilling, having fun. I think one of my other sisters was there as well. It was a few of us, but we were just chilling and things like that. And his daughter and my niece were at my house. So, my friend, now at the time he had me. We weren't friends on Facebook. He ended up removing me as a friend on Facebook and things like that. So, but he was friends with my friend, which this friend was a mutual friend. He knew her before I knew her, but me and her had grew really close. So she just so happened to have get on Facebook, and she was like, "What is so and so talking about?" And I'm like, "What you talking about?" So she shows me, and he's on Facebook talking about asking somebody who can um pick up his daughter and drop her off in another city. Still where I live at, but a different city or whatever. Because when he get off of work, shit is about to go down or whatever. So I tell her like, screenshot me all of that or whatever. Ooh. So my sister, being her, she like, ain't nobody finna do nothing to you. Now an incident has happened where her girlfriend was there, and he jumped on me as well. So this particular sister, this wasn't her first time seeing this, so she kind of knew what he was talking about. We all knew what he was talking about because he left for work angry that day. So I'm like, well, screenshot this to me or whatever, so I can have it. And at the time, we stayed downstairs from my landlord, and my landlord kind of knew some of the stuff what was going on and stuff too, because she would hear it, but she was the type to not, get in the midst of all of that. So I ended up telling her, like, just a heads up, this is what's going on. So tomorrow, if you hear anything, like, it's time for it to stop. Like, it's got to end. So she was aware of it. Pretty much everybody was aware of it. My sister and her girlfriend decide that they were going to stay there that night or whatever, but they wanted to go out and stuff. I didn't want to go out and do all of that. So they went out or whatever, and they ended up coming back in. It was like maybe 3-4 o'clock in the morning when they came, maybe 5. And he got off of work at 7. So we were kind of just up or whatever, but I was on the couch. I had a 3-bedroom. They were in one of my rooms, and then the kids were in another room. I didn't feel like sleeping in my room. I slept on the couch or whatever. And not really was sleeping, but because I was on edge, because in my mind, it's just like I was trying to prepare myself for what was going to happen when he got off of work. So he comes in and he walks right past me on the couch, and he goes in the room. He comes out. He makes him a bowl of cereal, and he goes back in the room. Then he comes out and he's like, "You been on the couch this whole time?" And I'm like, "Yeah," or whatever. He like, "Well, come here, let me talk to you." So I go in the room. Automatically, my sister being her, she gets up, and because she's sitting on the other couch, she gets up and she stands right by the room door. And on the other side of the door, he's like, I've been at work for 24 hours and you didn't think to have me nothing to eat, ready to eat or something like that." And I'm telling him, like, you don't eat anything that I cook anyways, which is the truth. If he didn't see me cook, he wouldn't eat it. So it was just like, what was the point? What was the point of me making you something to eat when you wasn't gonna eat it? So at that point, it was just like he was just trying to find a reason to want to argue with me. And by me being me, like I said before, I got a mouth, and I didn't say anything wrong, but you know, men feel superior to I don't know, whatever, but they feel like you supposed to bow down to them. And so when I was like, what was I supposed to make you to eat? You ain't gonna eat it anyways. He instantly started choking me. And he had, the way that our room was set up, he had his body against the door. So because I'm trying to grasp and grab, and I'm trying to make so much noise to get my sister in, but they heard it. So my sister, she's real small. She's so skinny. So her and her girlfriend and my sister-in-law, my brother's girl, they're on the other side of the door, and they're trying to open the door. So they finally get through the door or whatever and stuff. And my sister was like, "What you not finna do is be putting your hands on." I'm so dramatic. But my sister was just like, "What you not about to do is be putting your hands on my sister again or whatever." She's like, "You know what? I'm gonna call my brothers. You wanna fight somebody? I'm gonna call my brothers or whatever." So if it went from my bedroom into the living room or whatever, and we're all there or whatever and things like that. So him and my sister going back at it. Now I got a mouth, honey. She has a whole nother level of mouth. So they're going back at it and this and the third. So yeah, they're going at it or whatever the case may be. And I don't know who swung first. I want to say my sister swung first. And she's my older sister, but she's so much littler than me. And it was me, like I'm where I'm at. It was my sister, and then off over here it was my sister girlfriend and my sister-in-law, and then right in front of us was him. And so actually no, it was me, it was my sister girlfriend, and my sister was behind us because we were trying to keep her, because she's all in his face and she's doing this and she's doing that. So we like, just chill, like just chill or whatever, And then it was my sister-in-law and he was in front of us. So all I know is it was my sister. My sister definitely swung on him first. My sister, I just see her hand come in between us and just go at him. And he just started swinging. So all of us got the swinging and things like that. And remind you, I said his daughter and my niece were there. So his daughter was 11 at the time and my niece was 14. And so it went from my living room, we tumbling over couches, everything. It went from the living room to the dining room. And I had a really big house or whatever. So it went from the living room to the dining room, and in the dining room I had this big old mirror. And I've had this mirror for so long, since my grandma passed away. It was her mirror, and it went with a bedroom set that she had. And between me moving and things like that, things got lost, things got left behind and stuff. But that was like one of the two items that I still had left of that or whatever, was this big mirror. And it was leaning up against the wall because it was supposed to originally get hung up, and it never got hung up. So I mean, he he was, it was, it was just so much, like, between him fighting us and things like that. And all I know is he picked up this mirror and he threw it at my sister or whatever, and it shattered everywhere. I'm trying to, push him out the way, and he grabbed me and he throws me into this bathroom door, and it was crazy. So when things finally did calm down or whatever, he puts on, because he had on like some shorts or whatever, and this was in the winter time. Like, where I'm from, we have snow, it's cold, like, so it was a few days before Christmas. And so he ends up putting on some clothes, and he was like, oh, so this is what y'all want to do, I got something for y'all, and this, that, and the third. Leaves his daughter and everything or whatever and stuff. Now, if anybody knows me personally that's watching this video, everybody know I love the kids. I would never do anything to harm a child or any of that. So he knew, him leaving his daughter, I wasn't gonna do anything to her or anything like that. And so my landlord ends up calling the police, but he ends up leaving before the police get there. So the police get there, and I think by this time my mom had made it. I'm not for sure if my mom had made it, because at this point my sister done called everybody. There was no, she called everybody. My cousins, my brothers, everybody was called. Everybody. And so the police had been called, and they got there, they talked to us, and they got, the stories and things like that. No, the police ended up being called twice. So they came, and we let them know, like, he's gone, we don't know where he's at. Once again, me trying to save a motherfucker. And so they left, and they were like, well, if he comes back, call us or whatever. Now, the police has been called out to my residence several times, because, like I said, between July and December, there's been quite a few incidents. And I kind of had my mama at this, like, towards the end, like, the incident that happened in July, I didn't tell anybody the truth. I lied about what had happened. I told them I was in a car accident. Dumbest lie I could ever come up with, because everybody was looking at me sideways like, you ain't got no scratches, you ain't got this, your jaw just broke. Car accident, Rachel, really? But that's what I used. I didn't know what else to do. I didn't know what else to say. I was lost. So fast forward, like I said, things, my birthday, October of 2018, was the worst. We were at a hotel. He beat me up in a hotel. I didn't make it to my birthday dinner. Everything. So November comes. Things was happening in November. And it was to a point where I had gotten to a point where now I started fighting back and being able to get away from him. And so the police had been called on several occasions. And I would just leave and go. But both of our names was on this lease, so it was kind of hard to be like, I don't know. It was just so much. But back to the incident that happened in December. So they were like, I'm all over the place with this story, because it's just so much. It was so much. Like, I was with a person for a year, and so much happening. I had so many times to get away, but I didn't take it. I kept coming back. Like, love is blind. Like, when you say love is blind and it'll take over your mind, believe that. If you haven't been through anything like this, trust and believe me, take heed to all those red flags, because they're not there for nothing. They're not there for nothing. They're there for a reason. But the police said call them back if he shows back up. So by this time, my mom and them had all came or whatever and stuff, my brother and them. and things like that. And he ended up pulling back up. And he pulled back up with two or three guys. Now, remind you, when he left, it was only us females. It wasn't no guys, no nothing. He pulled back up with guys for us. And we're all little. Like, I stand 5'1". My sister, we're all little, very short, little statures. Like, we're not big at all. You show up with three big guys to do what? So I ended up, at the time, it was a refrigerator. Like, I had like this little hallway. It was the door coming into the house, and then it was another door to actually get in the house. So it was like a hallway. So I had a refrigerator that had needed to be removed or whatever, and we couldn't get it out the back door, so we had to get it through the front door, and it never got removed. So it was in this hallway. So I seen him coming up, and from what I was told was that it looked like he had a gun on him or something. So I instantly moved the refrigerator and barricaded the door so he couldn't get in. So he's outside on the porch, oh, y'all gonna lock me out my own house, and I have a right to be here. My name is on this lease as well, and all types of stuff. He's like, oh, Ray, I just want to get my daughter. Like, let me get my daughter. And I tell her, like, get your stuff on, and I'm going to send you outside, but I'm going to send you through the back because they were in the front. And so it would have been a long way around my house. Like, even if he would have seen me send her out the back, it would have been a long way around. By the time he would have got around to that back door, I would have had it closed by then. So I sent her out the back door. She got to her dad. They put her in the car, but he's still outside. Now, as all of this is going on, like the barricading the door and all of this stuff, my mom's on the phone, or somebody's on the phone with the police. Police pulls back up. The same exact police that were there. And actually a couple squad cars did. So they end up asking him his side of the story and things like that. So they were out there with him for a while, and then the female officer comes in and she's talking to us, and my sister, like I said, she has some mouth on her, so she's trying to overtalk the officer, and the officer was like, I could take both parties to jail. Hold up, shut up, because I'm not going to jail. That's what I'm telling my sister. So the officer was like, you know what, can I talk to you in another room? So she takes me into my bedroom, and she tells me what he's saying and things like that. He said that I had premeditated the whole thing. Like, when he came in, we jumped on him. When he came in from work, we jumped on him. I told the officer, I said, ma'am, this man had enough time to take a shower, because he took a shower, and he made him a bowl of cereal, which just so happened to be sitting right on the nightstand in my bedroom that me and the officer was in. And I was like, here's the bowl of cereal. The bowl of cereal hadn't been touched or anything. Here's the bowl of cereal that he had made. I said, so for him to come in the house and we jump on him, how is it possible for him to shower and make him a bowl of cereal and everything? So, the officer, and she heard my story and things like that. She took my story, my statement, then she ends up wanting to talk to my landlord. Now, she talked to my landlord separate. I don't know what was said with my landlord and whatever. So they ended up taking him in, and he got released Christmas Eve, and for a couple days he had to go to work with the clothes that he had on, because we had a no contact. We had a 72-hour no contact order and things, and it was so much. It was so much. His daughter was really attached to me. I know she was texting me from the moment she left that she wanted to come back. She didn't want to. Actually, we ended up letting her come back in the house because it was cold out. So it was cold out. So as they were getting everybody's stories, we let her come back in the house so she can be warm. And she came to me and she was like, Rachel, I don't want to go. She was like, can I stay? And I had already been told that me and him had a 72-hour no contact order. So I'm like, you can't, I'm like, because once he gets released, he can't come back here right now or whatever. So if he comes back here to get you, it's going to be problems. So she left and went with her uncles and stuff. But the whole time she was gone, she was texting me and things like that. And I'm gonna see if I could find, because I did screenshot a whole lot of things back then. Because this is almost a year ago. But she was telling me how this isn't the first time that her dad has done stuff like this, and that it's not my fault because her auntie and his other baby mama were making it out like it was my fault that her dad was in jail. And she was just like, I know it's not your fault. um she was like, I know it's not your fault. This is the first time my dad has done this. He's done this to all the women he's been with. And for an 11-year-old child to say that, like, that really broke my heart, because it's like, you don't care what you do in front of your kids. One, you broke my jaw in front of your 7-year-old son. Now here it is in front of your 11-year-old daughter. You're fighting me and things like that. And for her to say, it's not your fault, I've seen him done this before, lets me know that it's a lot of truth to it. What 11-year-old is going to say something like that out their mouth if they haven't seen it or been subjected to it? And that's just that. So fast forward, he gets released and a couple days go by, and I'm a sucker. Like, I was weak for this man. I love this man damn near to the death of me, and I ended up letting him come back. Like, once everything died down, the holidays left and things like that, I let him come back. Nobody knew, but I let him come back. One of my sisters knew, because my little sister, she always came over and stuff. And she was kind of furious about it, but at the same time, she, no, I'm grown. Nobody could tell me what to do. This was all a life lesson like that I had to learn on my own. But she knew. I let him come back, and it was a few more incidents after that, and I was just at my wit's end. But it was just like, by us, it was just so much. Like, I could have easily sent him back to jail because he wasn't supposed to be there. But at the same time, because I let him back, we both could have been in jail because there was a no contact order. The district attorney ended up picking up the case. So it went from a 72-hour no contact till the end of the case or whatever. So once the case was over, then the no contact would have been gone. We ended up moving out the house the end of January. And I had moved back home to my dad because my dad had, finally, the few days before Christmas, everybody ended up completely finding out. It's hard. When you go through things like that, it's hard. Like, if you haven't been through it, you can easily say you should have walked away or whatever the case may be. But until you walked a day in my shoes, through the things that I went through, then, maybe you can understand a little bit more, because I was getting bashed by family members as to why I stayed and all this other stuff, and love doesn't do that, which is true. But that was a lesson that I had to learn. And instead of people bashing me about it, they should have been there to lend their support. So, I mean, I have thick skin. I feel like I've been through the worst of the worst that I could have been through. 2018 in my city, there were a lot of females, a whole lot of females that lost their lives due to domestic abuse and domestic violence. Like, and I thank God that he got me out of that situation. Like, because that could have easily been me. It could have easily been me. And fast forward to now, there's still a lot of women that goes through it. Men too. I can't just sit here and say women, but 85% of women go through this, and it's 15% of men that goes through this. So it's on a larger scale for women. And I can speak to women because I've been through this. So, but I'm very blessed to be where I am today.